What's up, it's Cinema Shogun here, and ever since this situation happened at the Oscars, there has been a lot of conversations about feelings. Everyone seems to be concerned about Jada Pinkett Smith's feelings. Everyone has been saying that you really can't put yourself in her shoes and know how she feels because she's going through this, situation with her hair, and someone joked about it. People are saying, you don't understand how it feels when someone jokes about a woman's appearance. People are saying, well, you don't know how it feels to be a black woman because they're sensitive about their hair. There's so many conversations surrounding Jada Pinkett Smith's feelings. There's also a lot of conversations surrounding Will Smith's feelings. Like, how did it feel for him in that moment to have someone insult his wife? Or, better yet, what is Will Smith really feeling and what is he really going through to cause him to do what he did? But what I don't see people talking about enough is Chris Rock's feelings. Because after all, I think he is the real victim in this situation. After all, he is a person as well, right? After all, regardless of how Jada Pinkett Smith feels or how Will Smith feels, it's clear that they allowed their feelings to wrap up Chris Rock and whatever they got going on and whatever they got feeling. So I just feel like not enough people have been asking or wondering about Chris Rock. Now, most of you might not know this, but at one point Chris Rock opened up about how he used to be bullied. He even had some sexual things done to him as a child. He was beat up. He was jumped. He was called this. He was called that. And it took him a while to learn how to stand up for himself. And in this situation, I can't possibly begin to understand what he was feeling. And I know how it works and how people are, how men are, and how situations are. And some people view it as, oh, Chris Rock was a punk for not retaliating. Chris Rock was a punk in that moment for not striking back. Because a lot of people want to, get wrapped up in the machismo of the moment. And they want, they expect a violent retaliation. And I understand how things work on the streets. But the Oscars is not the streets. The Oscars is an award show. And I believe, according to the setting, that Chris Rock did what he should have done in that moment. I think Chris Rock set a good example for a lot of younger men growing up looking for a way. While Will Smith did the exact opposite. And I know there's always talks about be the bigger man this, be the bigger man that. But in this situation, it's not just a figure of speech. I really do believe that Chris Rock was the bigger man in this moment. The level of restraint he showed, the knowledge of what he had to lose. Regardless of how much money Chris Rock has and what he does with his career, we don't know his situation and we don't know how many people depend on him. I'm sure it's not just himself. He wants to make a way for his kids, his kids' kids, his kids' kids' kids. He wants to set a good legacy. And at the same time, I don't think he wanted to put a blemish on this moment for so many other people because the situation could have gone much worse. It could have gone much worse. And I think that he thought that there was more at stake here than just his reputation or Will Smith's reputation. Because at the end of the day, I feel like there were so many... What happened here opens up the door for so much talk about these negative stereotypes that already swirl around. And Chris Rock knew that in that moment. And Will Smith should have known better as well. But now, it has come out that Chris Rock was not even asked if he wanted Will Smith kicked out of the Oscars. No one ever even stopped to ask Chris Rock how he felt in the moment. And I'm going to get into that a little bit more, but I want to show you this clip of just how he looked in the moment after this happened. How he's trying to process what happened. And I can't begin to imagine what's going through his mind. And I feel like when we saw all those people running to Will Smith and consoling Will Smith, why didn't we see people checking on Chris Rock? Let's just take a look at this clip. Looking at that clip just really hurt my feelings, like it honestly did. Don't get me wrong, I know Chris Rock is a grown man who can handle himself, but I just feel like in that moment it took him back to all of the past trauma that he had. I felt like in that moment he was questioning so many things, like what the hell just happened for one, but also how he maybe should have reacted in the moment. Because he could have said so many things, he could have done so many things, and I just know that that moment must have been so hard to process for him. And the fact that he stood up there, still delivered the award, and still didn't say any, he just handled it so perfectly. But Chris Rock was not asked if Will Smith should be removed from the Oscars. And it was allegedly producer Will Packer who made the call to let the star stay after he slapped Chris Rock. No one ever asked Chris if Will should leave. They never consulted him at all. It was the Oscars producer Will Packer who made the final decision to let Will stay. In the moments after Chris Rock walked off the stage after being smacked by Will Smith, he was greeted by producers and LAPD officers. They asked if he wanted to press charges. He declined, and that was about it. Meanwhile, we have producers having these meetings in the background about what happened with Will Smith. And there's conflicting reports of what's going on here, but supposedly they came out and talked to Will Smith and was like, we want you to stay. And all of these other actors were sitting there talking to Will Smith about what happened, rubbing on his shoulders, talking to him as he cried like a bitch because he couldn't handle a joke. And no one really came to Chris Rock's defense. Wanda Sykes actually spoke out. And, I'm no fan of Wanda Sykes and how some of her jokes at the Oscars. I can handle jokes as well. But all of the, I don't even want to get into it. The don't say gay bill or whatever the hell they were talking about. Whatever. I don't really care for a lot of these actors. But she said that she walked up to Chris Rock, and in that moment, Chris Rock apologized to her before she could even say anything, because he felt like he messed up her night that she was hosting the Oscars, and that her night was going to be all about him now. So even in that moment, after what happened to him, despite no one else coming to really talk to him, no one coming to his defense, no one consoling him about what happened, none of that. No one even asking if he felt okay or safe that Will Smith was allowed to stay there. None of that. Even in that moment, he was more concerned about her feelings as opposed to his. And I think that shows what type of person he is. And I think what Will Smith did and the lack of an apology shows what type of person he is. And I was always a Will Smith fan. Loosely a Will Smith fan. I don't really like the term fan because I don't really like people in Hollywood at all, but I've always liked Will Smith movies, and I thought he was one of the more likable people in Hollywood as opposed to a lot of the people out there. But I'm really not happy about what he did and how this all went down. And I'm not happy that no one was there for Chris Rock in that moment. And I think now going forward, Chris Rock is going to see how much people really care about him. And not just that, but how much people really respected him in that moment. Because people are showing up to all of his shows and people are showing so much support. while Hollywood is turning their back and acting like he was so bad for telling a joke. And they're worried about Jada Pinkett Smith's feelings. And they're worried about Will Smith's feelings. The average person, we're concerned about Chris Rock and we're in his corner. But I want to know your thoughts about this down in the comments below. While you're down there, hit that thumbs up button, hit that subscribe button, ring that notification bell. And as always, find some time out of your day to go watch a movie.